Hello Digidestins, this is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to go over the recent toppings of the last couple regional events that we've had for BT5. Again, it's kind of seeming like yellow's kind of dominant this set, so let's dive right in without further ado and check out the deck list. So looking at all the lists right now, the first event was won by the one I played in, was for Top Cut for BT5. Dan Vega took first place with Blue Imperial Digimon. If you want to check out that video, link is right above me somewhere. I don't really understand that kind of where it locates, but it's somewhere up here. But then second place followed by Lord Nightmon Mastamon. He tied with Benjamin Lee with Yellow Lord Nightmon. They both very interesting decks. If we're able to play out further in time, I think Benjamin would have went undefeated and Dan would have faced him. So it would have been really interesting to see that outplay, but since they tied in time, again, time rules kind of hurt you a little bit in this game, but it's very interesting to see. We have a bunch of yellow decks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow decks right in the first regionals, one being Lord Knight Mastamon, which is understandable because it counteracts Lord Nightmon, Blue Imperial Digimon because Dan Vega is king, and Purple Lilith Loop was really interesting. I'm very interested. Let's go diving in. The first, we're gonna go work with 8 and up for this list. The first one is the Lord Nightmon list. This is very stock generic list. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. They're playing the 2 Volder arms. They are playing Lord Nightmon, which is very common because the deck is very consistent. It shows results. There's not much else you can say about it. Again, very stock list. You don't see anything out of the ordinary here. Let's dive right in. The next one is what we're kind of starting to see more common trends is the Spiral Masquerade here to help out against wide boards, just to ping them out, clear them out if we can get wide. This thing creates massive wide fields that are just really hard to overcome. I don't understand. There we go. They use in this list, it's a lot common to see War Greymon in these lists so that they help swing into the, you know, Lord Nightmon's Digimon being able to minus it by the 6,000 DP, which maybe they're at 16, at least they'll go down to 10k, which really does help us out in the long run because War Greymon being able to take out Mastamon is super important. Very stock list as well. Again, it only really has a flex spot in the ult mega line where you can just take out 2 to 1. Just Slash Angemon's really good, but having Yellow War Greymon does help out in the end game. So definitely think that's a really solid tech choice. Let's take a look at the next one. Next one is another Lord Nightmon list. Same thing, very generic. This one has Angemon to recover 1. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. It's very stock. This has Spiral Masquerade instead of any Blinding Rays, which is really nice because not very often you'll see 3 Spiral Masquerade. They went for a more control-y theme in this deck, and I like that. It adds a little spice, but it's just very stock list. There's nothing really out of the ordinary here. Next, here is the Lilithmon Loop. This one a little bit surprised me a bit. There is no TKs in this list. I mean mats at all, and there's no mat and tie combo to help even get further. They really relied on Tinya Abia and Mimi to continue memory plays, which is really nice and very powerful. I like that it has 3 Jack Raids with 1 Death Claw. 3 Lilithmon is pretty standard, I would say. Then you have Zawart Defeat being able to combo off. This deck really centers around the fact of it is that Lilithmon will Digivolve on top of one of your ultimates. As long as you have 10 in the grave, Jack Raid can go off a couple times. 2 Jack Raids equals 5 memory sometime in most cases, or 4 memory if you're going off the beginning, or Then you'll Digivolve into Zawart with either Mega Digimon Fusion, as long as you have a Tenya Abia out, which is very much easier to do under normal circumstances, because if they don't have the mat tie out, they can't really use Mega Fusion that easily. So I definitely think this is a really interesting list. Not many people are playing Lilithmon Loop, and it's showing because this deck is really strong against Lord Nightmon, because the fact is they keep up in pace. They're going into ultimates just to keep them at bay, and it's harder to kill multiple ultimates than it is to kill maybe a rookie, couple of rookies. But that's just how that goes. Next, here is another. This is another Lord Nightmon list, but it's splashed in one Mastamon, which wasn't bad in my opinion. Definitely like the Rise Greymon tech. It does help out being able to play your tamer for free. Sometimes it's just not cost effective to drop that tamer. Rise being able to play it is just really good. And if you have a tamer in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP. It helps long games, because even then, let's say you Rise, swing, Lord Nightmon triggers, now plays the Nightmon. Now you're able to kill off a 6000 blocker, which really does help out to get in those lethal pokes that you might need in the long game. I like that they kind of went a little different than most. 3 Boulder Arms is a little excessive, but again, they did them really well, and I'm very proud of these players. Next, we do have, this is the Lord Nightmon with Shikuyamon. This one is definitely to help against the green matchup, just because they like to pull from the raising area. As long as Shikuyamon is out on the field, they kind of lose out on that final push turn that they might have had, because the -3 security prevents him from going off, which is really nice, just so that you can stop plays. Definitely like that rush ability. Cutimon's in here to prevent Nokia shenanigans and other things that you just don't want to see. I really do like this kind of list. It's just pretty solid. Very expensive kind of bugger, because Pulsemon is expensive. Next, here is the second place Mastamon list. So it uses Zawart Defeat to come in and cheat, as long as they hopefully get it there. And I like it. It's very spicy of a list. Let's level sort this. They have normal rookie lineups, you know, nothing too crazy here, nothing out of the ordinary. The Patamon's really nice to have. To be honest with you, I might play the Patamons as well. Just a cheap costed rookie that just comes in for 4, where, you know, you could play Lucemon, but you have to wait. 5 cost is sometimes a little too pricey to pay out. So again, it's just really nice to have Patamon. Pulsemon's in here, then you have the Torurimon, then the Pidomon with the Gatomon that recovers and is a blocker, just to help out with Mastamon plays. And very solid list, very techie list. I like having Zawart Defeat come in. It just cheats in, and your opponent doesn't really have much answers to it, because if they kill it, they're losing their mon. It's just a bad day all around. Then here's the, you know, Dan Vega list. This man piloted Imperialdramon multiple tournaments and has topped multiple events. Again, as we described, I won't go hyper in depth, because I do have a video where he exclusively talks with me. Well, you know, gets more in depth, and he mentions that Sora and Joe will be probably taken out for the mat and tie combo, just because it's a little bit easier to get off than it is for Sora and Joe, because people can play around it, and it takes time to get there. So I definitely think this is a great list. Let's see what else has in store. This was for Top Cut, the first BT5 event. Next one we have here is the one from Europe Online. They definitely played first. Again, this has hyper rookie focus. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 rookie decks. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Lord Nightmon decks, 1 being Lord Night Mastamon, and then we have a Shoutmon list, which really impresses me. Let's go over that list. I really want to see, since I am one of the few Shoutmon players that plays that deck like a religion, I want to see what they can do. So first off, again, very stocked rookie rush list, except for 2 Puppetmon, I mean. Puppetmon hasn't been really seeing much play in this format, just because it's just way too much memory to give your opponent, and if your opponent can abuse that, you're in hot water. I kind of see where they're going with this. Puppetmon's a very solid tech choice. Definitely the 2 needle sprays I definitely agree with. It's just very stock list, except for probably the puppet. Puppetmon has been seeing less and less play. So let's go over the quick view of this Omnimon build. So this is Shoutmon Omnimon. Again, the reason for what these really nice lists, as I've talked in many of my videos related to Shoutmon, is I can see why it did well. The chances of you hitting 3 of these, 1 of these guys, is just really nice. Being able to have your Omnimon come in, swing in multiple times, maybe with 2 to 3 security checks. Again, and all it takes is 3 Omnimon swings and they're done. And I kind of see the merit for it. I just feel like this does brick a lot more than it should, just because you are playing Mega Fusion. You're required to have these weird combo pieces, and it can just be cloggy at times. I don't know. I don't know how this deck operates as much. I need to play test more with it, but I can see where they're trying to go with this. They're trying to set up Greymon, and then they're trying to have Larvaramon, the 2 Digimon that give security plus checks underneath it. Then go into Shoutmon DX, clear out, putting a Zeeg underneath. Then hopefully it's still your turn. Use Mega Fusion as long as you have a white card out. Digivolve into Omnimon, swing in with Omnimon, clear out 3 security, then restand because Shoutmon DX goes to hand on the swing, then swing again, bring back the Zeeg. At least you don't lose a lot of combo pieces. At least having your Megas come back to hand is so good. Even though you're losing out on the Omnimon, you might gain enough advantage to win the game by clearing out all security. So again, it's similar to the Red War Greymon punch style, but at least it guarantees the clearing of the security. So it's not bad. They use Omnimon Blitz to help do Shoutmon plays if that's another option. Next, we do have the very stock list. Again, poor quality, sorry about that, but they don't know how to take a picture, I swear. The Pulsemons, the Patamons, Blinding Ray, 2 Spiral Masquerade, 1 Lucimon, 3 Angemon. It's a very stock generic list. Next, again, Rookie Rush, very stock list. This was what I mentioned, that Puppetmon kind of sees its way out in some decks, just because they can use other cards to their advantage, adding more needle sprays, Spiral Masquerades just to clear out board more. It's better to remove the threat instead of preventing them, especially when we have Blitz Omni in this game. We can just take advantage of your opponent's game state. Here is another Lord Nightmon list. Very stock generic list. I can't express how much more. You get a very stock list with that. Next, this is Lord Nightmon Mastamon. As you can see, very common if you're playing Mastamon, you play to Zogwart Defeat. It's showing very commonly in this. The rest of it's very stocked. You're not changing much in this. It seems a lot of people are leaning towards having Sirenmon in the list because a 5-cost play does help out in the long game, and it's 2 to Digivolve, and that can keep it your turn if they're memory choking you, or you can memory choke them back. Sometimes you just don't want to give them 2, and you don't want to use your Blinding Ray too early, so I see the merit in this list. Again, 4 Bushy Agumon might be a little overkill, but it worked for them. Another Spire Rookie Rush list. Rookie Rush is very popular because this list wasn't very prominent right in the beginning in JP's meta, but then it started popping up more and more, and it got crazier and crazier as time went on just to show up. So definitely a good target mix. Here is another Lord Nightmon list. This is the 8th place, the final place. Again, very heavy in the yellow meta. Again, we have the Rise Greymon, which I do approve. I think this is a very good techie choice if you're hyper focusing on Lord Nightmon instead of like Mastamon, but it's a good card no less. So again, this was a very good turnout. Big 348 players, crazy. Let's talk about the end of 8 rounds, the regionals for us. This was, I remember, Core TCG? No, Magic Kanta. The Magic Kanta. So this is a very stock Lord Nightmon list. This is where Shikuyamon even comes in again, showing to help prevent green. A lot of green players are starting to show up more because they're starting to learn that Refugimon can shut down Lord Nightmon just enough where they're not building wide boards, and keeping it on the field and just can't attack is just too good. Because again, Lord Nightmon needs to rely on resting itself to swing in, to play its stuff, to build these crazy wide boards for absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's just how it goes, and it's just really nice to see that. Here is a Rafflesia OTK list. This is green OTK, if I think that's what they were calling it. Very interesting list. The Togemons are very commonplace. The 4 Palmon with jamming might be a little overkill because you only need maybe 1 to 2 of it. But Needle Spray Hidden Potential is really good. You can start seeing the very common 2 Chaosmon, 1 Boulder Arm. Just very common. Most OTK strategies focus around that. Next, here is another Lord Nightmon build. And sorry, not again, but Lord Nightmon with War Greymon. Kind of seeing this normal place because you need that extra mon to clear out Lord Nightmon and just get in there for an extra damage, being able to get multi-attacks to help out in the end game. Here is a Rookie Rush list. First time we're seeing 4 Puppetmon in this. They're playing the red card. I'm thinking they lost one of their cards, or they just wanted to be spicy and just get red in there. So it's not a bad tech choice. Then we have another Lord Nightmon Mastodon list. Really interesting. Again, you see the 2 Zawart defeats, and then you have 2 Mastodons. Very common place, very common trend to see these 2 always paired together. 2 Patamon. You could play a Godamon in here just instead, but it's all good flavor. Here is a security control list. First security control list to top since the event that we had with Imperial Gaming for the cash prize. Very interesting. They're not running any of the black support, which might throw a lot of people off, but I think Eating Javelin is sometimes just the better option. You could have went and swapped out the 7 stars for maybe the Ultimate Flare, but I think this works really well, just focusing on 2 colors. I think when they're spreading thin with 3 color security control, you have a lot of trouble keeping pace with certain decks that can just outpace you. Even if you're slamming down Machine Dramons, you're just giving them 12 because you Digivolve 2 of their mods. Oof. So again, it really does help out. The really interesting card has to be their option up here, the Purge Sunshine. Being able to do crazy stuff with this card, I think this might see future techs. I know he was playing Volcandramon instead to take on Rookie Rush, but I think this card really did him well, and it was a good tech choice. Purge Sunshine might see future plays in security control. Next here is Lilithmon Loop yet again. Very common stuff. We have the Thai mat is their only thing. They're not playing regular mat, which is very interesting to me, but it's kind of stock. Toshurimon is definitely a good play card, just because if, let's say, you delete your Omnimon Zawart through the effects and it has Toshurimon, it could keep it your turn after you destroy it with our good friend, yeah, Scalamon. So being able to take out an ultimate, kill one of their mons, you can clear a full board and keep it your turn and just play out how you want. I think this is a good, very good direction. Lilithmon loops. Hopefully we see a lot more Lilithmon loops going forwards. Then the 8th place is another Lord Knightmon. You see the 2 Slash Angemons, the Lord Knightmons, and the War Greymon to help counteract the meta. Again, definitely really good format. I just wish yellow wasn't so heavily intense in this format. But again, set 6 changes this. We get a lot more trial deck support. We get a little bit of blue and red that come in with a couple red deck versions. We have Jessamon, we have Agumon, Bond of Courage. Then we have Garurumon, Friendship. Again, I like all these new decks that are coming future. We'll just have to see. Maybe Bandai does something. What do you think, guys? Do you think there should be a ban list of some sort, just an emergency one, or just leave it alone? So guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.